So Dottie just had a nice encounter with those three kids. She was real friendly and the kids loved her. And Dottie, what do you see in there? Dottie's, ever since we got here, and this is our first morning, but as soon as we went outside yesterday, she's fascinated with all these new smells. There's probably a critter in there, Dottie. Let's go see the creek. Come on. So here's Coyote Creek, the namesake of the campground. You can see it gets wider down there. There's probably plenty of good little fishing spots. As I mentioned on a previous video, this is known as the most heavily stocked creek in the state of New Mexico, and I think that's due to the fact that we drove by a fish hatchery just down the road from here. So they say they come down every week or two with new fish, and I might give it a try. I bought a fishing license. I think it was about $50 for the whole season for a non-resident. It's mostly waiting for fishing on the lakes that I'm going to be at in the next few weeks. I'm going to be here for 2 weeks, and then I'm going to be at Lake Heron State Park for 2 weeks, and then Elvado State Lake. There's snakes where?
In the bushes.
There's snakes in the bushes. Okay, yeah. We'll be careful. Thank you. Well, apparently there's snakes in the bushes, so
They'll never come out.
So we'll stay out of the bushes. Those bushes. Okay, we'll go this way then. So here's a okay. Thank you. I wish I could have shown her, but she's a little girl and I would need permission from her parents, but she's so sweet. Those are wondering, do I legally need permission? Hell no. Do I ethically and morally need permission? Hell yes, I do. It's a nice day, youth center. This is a trail. Maybe I'll check out after a couple of days after I acclimate to the almost 8,000 feet here. The garbage containers are pretty secured, so I think that means we probably have bear in the area. Black bear. Look at the scenery. It's so nice. Now, I didn't know it, but there are reservation sites up here. There's, looks like 4 sites. GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4, kind of away from everything. A little bit more private up here. So keep that in mind if you want to make reservations here. This is up by the pavilion. And this wonderful big open field. Look at that. Well, I thought this might be a nice place for a little Little change of pace, me talking without driving in a beautiful backdrop here in Coyote Creek State Park. And want to talk, about my experience recently with my full-time RV life. Let's see, I've been retired and on the road. The day I retired, I went on the road the next day. I actually stopped at a dumpster on the way out and threw away all my work clothes, just as a symbolic gesture that made me feel really good. And so that was early December 2021. And now it's July 13th, 2023. So it's been a while. It's been a year and a half. And do I have any regrets? Hell no. I have no regrets. I've been invited back to work in my full-time job more than once, and once actually recently by a coworker that became a supervisor and became my boss and then became a manager. Now she's the director of the whole shebang, and she said I was welcome back. It's always nice when you're welcome back someplace. But if things weren't working out, I could turn back to Northern Virginia and I could work another few years in pretty much the same job. Probably more exciting now since they're doing more things back there in Fairfax County, Virginia. So I don't regret it. I'm having a great time. I would say in a lot of ways, though, the past few months, this year has been tough only because late January, I started having some pain in my right leg and things got progressively worse. And it turned out I had as I found out after the fact, pretty much after the fact, I had back problems, which was exacerbating. Boy, I have a hard time saying that word. It was making some minor hip arthritis worse in my right hip, and things were just going downhill quickly to the point before I left Quartzsite in March and April, I was totally dependent on a cane, and I was in pain all the time. I was popping Tylenol. I was Tylenol or acetaminophen like Skittles, and that's not good. For those of you that don't know, it's not good to be doing that. So I decided to go to my domicile, which is Pahrump, Nevada, and try to get some cash treatment because I have an $8,000 deductible on my insurance, and I'm have to pay out of pocket. So I went there and I got some treatment, and there's a whole video on this, but I did 6 weeks with physical therapy, which helped a little bit. Then I found this magical chiropractor, and he gave me noticeable relief after 1 or 2 sessions, and after 4 weeks I was almost totally okay, and I can move around now. I don't need a cane. I don't have any pain in my leg, but I still have a little residual pain in my back. Dottie, if you excuse me, Dottie has wrapped, while I've been sitting here, has wrapped this thing around. I'm not quite sure how she managed this. Come this way, Dottie. Come here. So she wrapped life with a dog. I'm back. Dottie wrapped around the bench and then was about to knock over this thing. But now she's wrapped it around my leg. So there she is. Dottie, you don't know that you've done anything bad, do you? So simultaneously, at the same time, I had a gig booked as a camp host volunteer in Yosemite National Park. And it was, pardon me, I was very worried I wouldn't be able to do that because of the physical limitations with my back and my hip and my leg. But they kept postponing it. And the last email, I haven't heard from them in 6 weeks probably. they said maybe your campground will open in September. So that would be, I'd have like a month or at the most 6 weeks worth of work, volunteering for a campsite at Yosemite, and I was really looking forward to that. That still may happen. I'm booked in here in New Mexico in 3 back-to-back 14-day state parks, so that brings me through like August 23rd or 24th, which would leave me plenty of time to get back to Yosemite in September, which I may do. I may not. I may go back to Pahrump. I may go to Flagstaff. I may stay in New Mexico. I have no idea what I'm going to do. And that, if it sounds like a problem to you, nomad life probably isn't for you, because part of the joy of it is not knowing where you're going or what you're going to do and not having commitments. It's a way to be free, and I really enjoy that. So now I don't walk with a cane. There's no pain in my leg when I'm during the day. Sometimes a little bit at night when I'm sleeping on my right side when the affected leg is underneath me, but that's minor. Little bit of back. I wouldn't call it. It's not back pain like when your back goes out, but it's stiffness and soreness during the day. And I'm religiously doing these stretching exercises. The physical therapist gave me. I do them every morning. It takes about 15 minutes, and I feel pretty good after that. Anyway, drawback to, well, I was about to say drawback to nomad life, but nomad life didn't cause this. This would have happened if I was still working. So it made for a little bit of a rough time. It caused me to stay in Pahrump, which is right outside Las Vegas, a lot longer than a sane person that had other choices would because of the heat. But remarkably, the heat stayed from being bad all the way through June. I mean, we were talking 85 to 88 during the day, which everyone around was saying, this never happens. This is really weird. And then around July 1st, boom, the triple digits hit. Between 100 and 114. I would say it averaged around 102, 103, 104, around there every day. And that was, I wouldn't call it miserable, because the dry heat thing is true. If it's dry heat, if it were 102 in Miami, you would never want to go outside. You'd be drenched in the first 10 seconds. But with dry heat, that doesn't happen. So what's going on now is I'm exploring the upper elevations of New Mexico, and so far it's beautiful. I've run into at least one real friendly guy that I met last night that I had a long conversation with right outside my rig, and fortunately he's leaving the next day, so it would have been a good new friend, but maybe I'll find another one. And I will keep you abreast of what's going on, and you'll see more and more of Coyote Creek State Park in New Mexico as the next 2 weeks evolve. Y'all take care. Bye.